The custody battle parent-teacher night was supposed to be normal. I had planned to sit with Marcus's teacher and talk about his grades, just like any other dad. Instead, I walked out of that school with a storm brewing inside me. When I got there, I waited with the other parents in the hall until it was my turn. Mrs. Patterson, his teacher, welcomed me with a smile and asked me to sit. She began talking about Marcus, how smart he was, but sometimes lost focus in math. I listened, but then she said something that froze me. She told me it was nice to finally meet me since she had already talked with Derek many times. Derek, my ex-wife's new husband. I stopped her and asked what she meant. She looked confused and explained that Derek had been to school events, had signed Marcus up for the science fair, and even attended the parent volunteer orientation. He was also listed as the main emergency contact for school matters. When she showed me the forms, I saw my name had been moved to secondary. My ex Sarah had changed everything at the beginning of the year without telling me. Mrs. Patterson then told me that Marcus had even introduced Derek to his soccer coach as his real dad. He had called me just his mom's ex. Hearing that made my chest tighten. I smiled politely at the teacher, asked for copies of the forms, and left the building. On the drive home, I realized what Sarah had been doing. She wasn't just moving on with her life. She was slowly pushing me out of Marcus's. She had turned Derek into the main father figure on paper and in Marcus's mind. That night I pulled out files, called offices, and checked everything I could. The more I looked, the worse it got. At Marcus's doctor's office, Derek was the main contact. At the dentist, it was the same. At summer camp, Derek was the listed pickup. Sarah had been rewriting me out of my son's life step by step. Next morning I called my lawyer and explained everything. I brought in the forms and proof. He told me I was right. Sarah had broken our custody agreement. She wasn't allowed to make major decisions alone, yet she had been doing it for months. We filed a motion with the court that day. But I didn't stop there. I called Marcus's orthodontist. I was still the one listed to pay for braces, but Sarah had been taking Derek to the appointments. She let him sit in on medical talks like he was the parent. The next big payment, $1,200, was about to come out of my old account. That account had been closed months ago after Sarah kept overdrawing it. I had given her the new account number, but she never updated it. When the payment bounced, Sarah would learn a lesson. Sure enough, Monday came and the payment failed. Sarah called me in tears, saying the orthodontist was threatening to stop Marcus's treatment. She screamed at me for letting it happen. I let her yell. Then I asked a simple question. Why hadn't Derek paid, since he was the one acting like Marcus's? Dad now silenced. Then I told her I had also stopped the summer camp payment. The $3,000 camp Marcus had been excited about for months was no longer paid for. The final payment was due that week, and I wasn't covering it. Derek could pay if he wanted to play father. Sarah's voice cracked. She begged me not to cancel. I stayed calm and told her this was the result of her choices. By the end of that week, the damage was clear. Marcus's braces were put on hold because Sarah couldn't find the money. His camp spot was filled by someone else. Sarah kept calling me every day, switching between anger and tears. Derek, it turned out, was not eager to pay. Playing dad at school was easy, but writing checks was not. Then Marcus began asking questions. Why wasn't he going to camp? Why were his braces delayed? Sarah was backed into a corner. On Thursday night, she showed up at my apartment. She looked worn down. Her eyes were red from crying. Her makeup was smudged, and she looked nothing like the proud woman who thought she had everything under control. I let her in but made it clear Derek was not welcome in my home. She sat on the couch and admitted she had made a mistake. She said changing Marcus's school contacts had been Derek's idea. He told her it was easier since he had more flexible hours and could attend school events. She claimed she had just gone along with it, not realizing how wrong it was. I listened but kept my face cold. She had tried to erase me from my son's life, and now she was paying the price. She wanted me to fix it all like before, to step in and cover the costs while she pretended Derek was the hero. But I wasn't going to play that part anymore. From that point on, I let the lawyers handle most of it. Sarah had shown her true colors. She wanted the image of a perfect new family with Derek, but she wanted me to carry the weight. When I refused, it all collapsed. Marcus eventually understood the truth. I made sure he knew I was still his dad and always would be. I attended his games, helped him with homework, and made memories with him without needing to prove myself to Sarah or Derek. The court saw the proof of what she had done, and it worked in my favor. In the end, Sarah's plan backfired. Derek couldn't replace me, not in Marcus's heart, and not in the eyes of the law. She lost her control because she chose lies over honesty. And I learned something important too. Sometimes the best way to fight back is not by yelling or begging. It's by letting people live with the results of their own choices. Sarah sat across from me with tears in her eyes. She said she never planned for things to go this far. I asked her why she let Marcus call Derek his real dad. At that question, she broke down. She told me Derek wanted a family that looked normal to others. He told her that Marcus would be better with a father who was there every day. She admitted Derek pushed her into believing that my role was less important. She thought it was better for Marcus to see Derek as the main dad. We talked for more than an hour. Sarah told me Derek had been controlling in their marriage. He kept asking why she had to keep contact with me. He said working with me on parenting was disrespectful to their marriage. She started believing him. She admitted she let Derek change. How Marcus saw me. I listened to her story and then told her what her actions had caused. I explained that she broke the custody agreement and damaged my bond with my son. I said I would keep supporting Marcus only if she fixed every contact form and gave me equal rights again. 6 weeks later, most of the contact problems were fixed. But the bigger wound was with Marcus. He was hurt and confused. He asked why his summer camp was gone. He was old enough to see his parents fighting again. He had been so excited about the STEM camp since winter. Losing it crushed him, and it was hard to watch. The court hearing came soon after. The judge listened to everything. Sarah was told she broke the agreement by changing school and medical forms without my consent. She got a formal warning and had to pay my legal costs. The custody papers were updated. Now it clearly said that both parents must agree before any contact changes are made. Derek did not help her in court. He was upset about the money she owed and started pulling away. Even Marcus noticed. He told me Derek was staying at work later. Marcus Brace's issue was solved when Sarah's mother gave her money. His treatment started again, but he lost 6 weeks of progress. The camp spot was gone forever. Marcus spent the summer at small day camps instead. It was not the same. I began speaking more with Marcus. I never spoke badly about his mom or Derek, but I told him I was still his dad and I was not going anywhere. He opened up. He said Derek had told him that most divorced dads move on and stepdads take over. I explained to Marcus that was not true. 4 months later, things started to shift. Marcus asked if he could stay with me more often. Sarah's marriage was falling apart. Derek no longer cared about being a dad when he realized it meant real duties and money. Sarah called me one evening crying. She said Derek had left after a fight about money. He thought I would pay for everything while he played dad at school. Sarah admitted she had been wrong. She wanted us to rebuild our co-parenting. I told her yes, but made it clear that no new partner could ever interfere with my role again. She promised she learned her lesson. Marcus began staying with me more. He looked relieved. He said he had been walking on eggshells around Derek for months. He had been trying to please both sides, but now he felt free. It would take time to heal the trust, but we were moving in the right direction. 8 months later came the final change. Sarah and Derek's divorce was done. Their marriage lasted only a year and a half. Derek tried to run away from every money problem. He moved back to his home state and never spoke to Marcus again. Marcus did not seem bothered. That told me everything. He knew Derek never cared for him. Kids can feel when someone's love is fake. Derek only wanted to impress Sarah. The custody plan was now working better than before. Sarah began to see the value of a co-parent who stayed committed. I also learned to guard my rights as a father. Marcus improved too. His grades got better once the chaos ended. He even made the honor roll for the first time in 2 years. He joined the robotics club and loved it. The summer camp had been a big loss, but he found new things. He got into a weekend engineering program that matched his interests even more. Looking back, I saw that the struggle taught us lessons. Sarah had tried to push me aside, but it only backfired. Marcus saw with his own eyes that I stood firm. He learned I was never going to leave. The financial part was a lesson too. Sarah learned that having a man willing to play house was not the same as having a man ready to be a real parent. Derek ran away the moment real money was involved. That woke her up. Today Marcus and I are closer than we have been since the divorce. He trusts me and knows I am his father. He knows I will always be there no matter who his mom dates or marries. That bond is worth more than any legal battle or any money I spent.